Ah, you damn right. House divided on a Wednesday. We are already to hump day of game week. 3 days to go till Texas takes on Colorado State. By the way, House divided's 94 days away. 94 days. Can't wait for that one either, but plenty of season to get to before that. Big topic today on the show. Is Atlanta the floor for the Longhorns? For some of you, I know it is. We'll talk about SEC championship levels, and is Texas going to be at that spot? First and foremost, want to say get well to Jeff Ketchum. Mr. Ketchum has got COVID right now. He is fighting it, and apparently it's hitting him. It's hitting him pretty hard. He's needing some rest. And remember, when you take the kids to a place where a lot of people hang out, those kind of things can happen. So everybody be careful out there. I got a kid with a September birthday coming up. It's that time of year, getting school back together. Everybody comes back together after the summer, and and the germs start flying. So hope Catch gets better very, very soon. That is the not so good news to start the show. The two pieces of good news I've got for you are Anwar Richardson's going to jump in about 12:15, latest on the team. He was obviously there for Sark's press conference this week, like he's going to be every single week. Player interviews and breakdowns and all that stuff. I just saw a picture he threw out earlier in the week of Quinn Ewers getting ready for this game with Colorado State versus Quinn Ewers back in the day with the mullet. I thought that was a pretty good contrast. So talk to Anwar about expectations of the team. What is he looking for against Colorado State? All that stuff. The other piece of good news for you today is sponsor related. And even though they are a new friend of ours at Orange Bloods Live, this is an old friend for Orange Bloods from way back, especially for Catch and those of you that love poker. Texas Card House Social opens today in Austin. It's going right now as I'm recording at 12:02 p.m. They've been cranking for 2 hours plus now, and it's going to be 24/7 over there. Open 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. Get on over there. New games coming, new leagues coming. The executive chef is going to be in charge. That's right. They're cranking up the food level for you over there as well at Texas Card House Social. The grand opening today right there on 183 and Anderson Mill. That is your QR code to find out more information. Shout out to the Texas Card House here on House Divided. We also invite you to jump in the chat. There's always hook'em emojis flying, and we are trying to get YouTube to change that like emoji to the hook'em emoji. I really think that's a bit of a barrier because earlier today on the recruiting hour, one of the chatters saw me do this, and they're like, no thumbs up, Chad, no thumbs up. Now, remember, when you see the thumbs up with the wedding ring, that's just a normal thumbs up. If there's a thumbs up with the other ring, that might be a little different. But remember to like, subscribe, and get your notifications. Just pretend it's a hook'em emoji if that helps you out. All right, so we got a couple chats already coming in. Let me mark a couple chats for discussion. Barb's jumping in real quick. Yeah, man, that stuff is everywhere with social school involved, basically an incubator. Yeah, that's kind of where it is. I do like this one. ZOV, I agree. It's 12:04. Yep, and OU still sucks. We got an SEC championship and national championship from Christopher, and this one just says, so ready for Saturday. Damn right, Stanley. Absolutely ready for that first big week. Last week's a little taster, right? Little appetizer. It's one of those appetizers where you don't have near enough to eat, right? Ooh, Florida State and Georgia Tech. Oh, that was tasty. Who was that at quarterback? Haynes King? What, the kickers from Texas? That's awesome. What else you got? And not much. Not much. This weekend, you got a lot. You've got a lot. Here's an early chat. Floor, if they go 9-3, they don't go to the title game, says Phil. I probably agree with you there, Phil. Depends on the three. What if it's 3 and 2 of them are in the SEC? That could be different. Remember, you could lose to Michigan, and the SEC thing is all about the conference. We'll get into all that, but it's a good point, Phil. Jump on in and let me know if you think that is Atlanta a part of your prediction? I don't even need to know if they're going to win it. Do you think Texas goes to Atlanta? because that would be huge. That would be historic. Nobody's ever done that. South Carolina, Arkansas, A&M, Missouri, nobody went to Atlanta that very first year. I believe it was the second and third year that Missouri won the East. Y'all double check me on that. So I think that was 13 and 14. I don't think they immediately did it in 2012. Look at our man Sal. Greetings from Gotham. What's up, Sal? Good to hear from you. Christopher, just, viciousness. I'm not sure why you would need to throw out such things early on in a show. And this one from Stanley, Texas D will make some believers. Stanley, you absolutely have to have it in the SEC. There's no negotiations in this conference in terms of that. I can speak from experience. As 12 years now, watching my team in the SEC, the exposure becomes, if you don't have a defense, you are going to be exposed. Even a team like LSU that had a damn good season last year and had a Heisman winner, they don't think it's a good season because their defense was terrible. They couldn't stop anybody. Pete jumps in. Chad, are you going to watch Rudy to prepare for Saturday? No, Pete, I am not. Actually, I just did my prep. I rewatched a highlight package of A&M against Notre Dame in the 88 Cotton Bowl. 35-10 Aggies. That's all the prep I needed, but I appreciate the question. It was Missouri did it. Year one, I believe. All right, Steven, I'll double check you on that one. You might be right. It was early. I didn't think it was actually 2012, though. Is that who Alabama would have played on their way? Because Alabama would have gone on the west side. Maybe it was Missouri in the east. That's fair. But is Texas going to be headed to Atlanta? That is the big question right now. Here's Stanley jumping in again. What's up, Stanley? A lot of good chats from Stanley. Texas is defense goes to SEC title game. Texas is goes to the SEC title game and will win it. D will be top 15 in the country. As Texas goes, the defense goes. I got you, Stanley. Okay. If that defense is top 15, they'll absolutely have a chance to get that done. Text guy, Chad, you're the Energizer Bunny, always on OBL. I do what I have to, text guy. Do what I have to. And we're pulling the rope for our man Jeff Ketchum today since he's out sick. So did the recruiting show, doing this show, going to be doing Outsiders tonight. And we're going to have a lot of fun. And I do thank Anwar for jumping in today as well. All right, so we got some good chats to get to. We will get to all of that. Let me remind everybody, somebody just said they're excited about the first week of the season. How good is your setup that you're excited for? Do you have the big enough screen? Do you have enough screens? Maybe you need multiple screens. AV Consultations is the place that can set you up. 255-8678. Now, if you're in the Austin area and you're looking for a place to go watch games, it's just got a bunch of screens. Maybe go hit a Pluckers location or a Cover 3. AV Consultations set all of those up. There's some new Pluckers that are about to open. AV Consultations is setting those up as well. And I love going to Pluckers because that can give you an idea of how screens can be set up, where screens can be set up. I do love that screen in the mirror in the bathroom. Oh, that's the dream of all dreams right there. If you want that in your house, it can be done. AV Consultations, 255-8678 or avconsultations.com. All right, so as we jump in today, Justin throws out a nice question to get us started. Maybe over under on SEC teams in the playoff, 3.5. Justin, it's a great question. The logic would tell us that the winner in Atlanta, obviously the winner's in, the winner would be in. You assume the loser is in and one other team is in. You're asking if it's another. I'm going to say over. I'm going to say it's got to be 4. This season specifically, it feels like it's 4 or more. So I'm taking the over on that one, Justin. But that's kind of part of the discussion today. Because when I threw my prediction out this week on Outsiders, I had Texas at 10-2, and I had them not making the SEC title game. And then I kept thinking, I'm like, man, would most Texas fans consider that a big disappointment? My floor for Texas, to kind of answer the question of the show today, it's the playoff. They've got to get to the playoff. And then, as I've said, live up to the seed. Whatever the seed is, live up to that. But get to the playoff is kind of the floor. Because to me, I could see a path where a couple other teams could be a a Georgia and a Missouri. It could be Ole Miss and somebody that have a path that feels reasonable to maybe sneak in there. But of course, that would be, and again, I've said 10-2 for Texas, but I've also said I think they're going to lose Michigan, OU, or Georgia, one of those three. Well, if it's Michigan, then they're a one-loss conference team. Then that other loss is in conference, and you would assume if you only have one conference loss that you're right there. So that's one of those things that I probably wasn't factoring in when I thought about, how it all worked. But that is the thought right now. Kelly jumping in with the chat. I probably missed it at some point. What's your pick for A&M Notre Dame? Kelly, I am one of those fans that gets nervous when everybody starts to pick my team to win the game, the big game they're in. I kind of wished everybody would be on the other side. I feel like everybody is picking the Aggies, but I am as well. I think it's a close, I think 26-22 is what I said yesterday when I was pressed for a score. I think it's in the 20s, and I think if you score like 27, 28, you certainly win that game. I guess if it's 26-22, I think 23 or 24 would win you that game. But I'm going to take the Aggies because they're at home. I think that's going to be big, and I think the defense will be good. Matt says Texas is going to Atlanta twice. I see what you're doing, Matt. Championship game is in Atlanta. That is true. Oh, look at here. Look at here. Proud Daddy in the house. 88 is great, Sorrell says. And 88 will lead the team in sacks. Bam! There you go. I hope you're right. I hope you're right, Daddy Sorrell. You know why? Because all my life, there have been some great 88s. I can't think of a badass, everybody knows his name, 88 at that position. Y'all can tell me if I'm missing somebody. I mean a badass, legendary. Nobody ever forgets his name. That's what Mr. Sorrell can become this year. 88 at the edge. That's a badass number if you can make it look good. Here we go. Thank you, Rex. I was right. Georgia, Bama in 2012. Missouri was 5-7. Thank you, Rex. That's what I thought. Aggies had that hot start in terms of the season. Obviously didn't get to Atlanta. Beat Bama, but had lost a couple other games. And I thought it was those next years that Missouri jumped in. So thank you for clarifying there. Just a hook 'em emoji from Anthony. Nice name, by the way. Fantastic. Just a big yo from Harish. What's up, Harish? Again, coming up here in just a second, Anwar Richardson's going to jump in. We're going to talk some Texas football. Don't you worry about it. Before we do that, let me thank another one of our great partners. And this one was fun to do last weekend. Let's pop back up some Deep Eddy vodka drinks. Look at all these beautiful cocktails. Let me draw your attention to the lower right. See where it says orange and peach mule? All I did is I walked up to my man at the bar. I said, my two favorite Deep Eddy vodkas are orange and peach. What can you do for me? And he said, well, I could just do like orange and peach and soda. If you want to do that. He goes, or I can make it a mule. And I thought, well, I'm into a mule. I'd already had the cranberry mule earlier. So let's try it. It was fantastic. Might be the best drink I had that day. Orange and peach mule was fantastic. They've got the mason jars for you. Those are yours to take with you, by the way, once you're done. Or you can go with the pool cup, save you a little money that way. Still so tasty. The Deep Eddy Vodka Tasting Room. Make your plans. Thursdays through Sundays. All those cocktail choices and more. Or if you want to do what we did, we had a tasting on Saturday. It was really cool. A lot of good education on Deep Eddy's history, which vodka came first, which vodka is the most popular, all that kind of stuff. And it packs a little bit of a punch too. Make sure you do it responsibly at the Deep Eddy Vodka Tasting Room. Get that DD or ride share set up because you may very well need it. Shout out to the Deep Eddy Vodka Tasting Room. Make your plans to get out there today. Well, not today because it's not Thursday yet, but make sure to get your plans together to get out there very, very soon. All right, the Texas Longhorns are getting ready to play a game, and we are lucky enough on House Divided today. Even though we don't have Jeff Ketchum, we have a man that is there each and every week when Steve Sarkisian sits his tan ass down to talk to the media. This is one of the guys he's looking at each week. It's Anwar Richardson. What's up, Anwar?
Where's your host at? Where's your co-host at today?
He's in COVID land today.
You know the easiest way not to get COVID?
Stop testing for COVID.
Stop testing for COVID. That's the easiest way. It's 2024. Who still has a COVID test at home, right?
Hey.
Like, who still got this? What are we doing?
I think the mistake was Ketch took his kids to like some kind of trampoline park or whatever, and maybe they hadn't hosed that place down since 2021. I have no idea.
Yeah. Okay. So this is what we do. You go there. You make sure you got your antibacterial. So like you gotta have that Germex 99% stuff with you, right? You take that there. All right. You stay off in the cut, right? As a parent, I'm not around all these other parents, right? I don't want to be around you. You kids coughing with the mouth open, stuff like that. I'm over in the cut somewhere. And then you got to antibacterial that thing down. Like you antibacterial, then you get out. And then when you get home, you wash your hands. That's how you avoid getting the flu.
Yeah, I agree. But hey,
you guys gonna make me sound like some like 78-year-old like COVID. What? COVID doesn't exist right here. I want to tell you about it. It's just the government trying to keep us down. Damn it, COVID. What year is this?
You are sounding kind of old there. Hey, hey, I got a bag of lye right back here. That's all you need is some of that old lye soap. That's all you need. It's powdered. Just put it on your hands and you're good.
So
it might eat your skin off
for the rest of the week, right? Pretty much that means he's done for the rest of the week. And Chad, you have to fill him by yourself again. That's all right. I got you, Chad.
I appreciate you. I appreciate the visit because we're coming up on this first game. And you are obviously as close to anyone getting ready for this thing. I won't even give you a spot to go right now. I'll leave it up to you. You've been doing shows all week and everything. Coaches press conference, players press conference. What's the thing that's standing out to you as we get ready to crank up 2024? They don't have a high profile game, like the Aggies do with like a Notre Dame coming in. But what's your kind of mindset right now for Texas on this Wednesday?
That sounds like the catch "where's your head at" question is what that.
Yeah, kind of.
Like. It does. It sounds like the where's.
I hope I took a little less time to ask it, but probably not.
Yeah. Where's your head at 72 hours before the game? There's I said this on Monday, Chad, and it kind of ties in to what you're talking about today. I find myself looking for blind spots. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything as we go into this 2024 season. I don't want to just all of a sudden just assume all is good, all is well in the world. And maybe for some reason in December, we look back and say, damn it, we knew that going in. And so, I'm going through and now I find myself kind of double checking on some things. And I'm like, so I find myself questioning myself. I put out a 10-2 prediction on Sunday. And it's interesting as we have that conversation. I can think of many reasons why this program should be successful, but I can also think of reasons why that there might be some couple of hiccups here and there throughout the season because of the things that are going through my head. In no ways do I think we'll fall off a cliff. I don't think that we'll be sitting back here. Like 8 wins would be a shocker, right? I'm like, what the hell just happened? That would be crazy. And I think, Chad, if I'm correct, after the Sugar Bowl Texas had in 2018, I believe that 2019 season was like an 8-winish kind of season. I don't know if you can look that up while I'm BSing at this moment, but
I will. I think you're right, but I'll double check you.
I don't think it's going to be like that. I don't think there'll be a thing. But if you're at 11, I feel like if I tell you 10, I feel like you can say, all right, I can see it. I don't want to have a huge argument with you about it. So I think you can say 10. And I think, I mean, 9 would be a disappointment, but if you tell me there's certain reasons, certain things don't happen, like I can see that as well. It would get to be a huge disappointment. So I just think for me, Chad, I'm just more about, okay, do I got everything covered? Am I overlooking? Am I giving too much credit here or too little credit here? I try to see where that whole thing balances out as we go into it. And again, we won't know a ton after Colorado State. We'll probably know a little bit more after Michigan. But I think that's where my head's at.
Yeah, by the way, you were right. 8-8 with a bowl win, 7-5, and then 8 with the Utah win was 2019.
Yeah, that was falling off a cliff. That was like, we're back. And
yeah,
I don't think it's going to be like that. I think the infrastructure is in place where I don't expect anything to that effect.
So the thing on my mind today, Anwar, is in discussing the SEC like title game. I'm not talking about winning it or not winning it. It's just, is Atlanta the floor for Texas is kind of my question today. For me, it's the playoff is the floor, not necessarily Atlanta. But I know there's a lot of confidence with Texas fans that Atlanta is going to be a part of this. For you, when you lay a 10-2 prediction out there, if one of those losses is Michigan, let's say, then there's an opportunity for a one-loss SEC schedule, and that ought to get them to Atlanta. Do you have Atlanta in this team's 2024?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Because I actually have Michigan down as a win. So
you do. Okay.
I do. I think of Michigan as a win. My thing is right now, as we said, I view Georgia as probably a loss, and I think most people are accounting for Georgia. And I know people want to say that they're going to beat Georgia, and we'll see what happens in the next few weeks. But it's the other games, the hiccup games, that's what I'm factoring in. Each season is different, right, Chad? And they will tell you that each season's different, okay? But I can't fully ignore that there's a team that it was in life or death against Houston the last season, okay? That in itself happened, right? This is a team that was literally, had to come back against a Kansas State. Now, again, you give them credit for the wins. Like, I'm not taking away stuff, but there's these little things there. The TCU game was a game that you said to yourself, like, why is this a game at this moment, right? Yep. And so to a lesser degree, Wyoming was like 10-10 going into the fourth quarter. So I say it all to say, like, I saw, again, I give them credit. They came through, they got the wins. But I also know that in the SEC, if you are playing these life or death contests with some of these teams, I don't care what you think that team is on paper. That team is going to be pretty damn good, and it's going to actually have there. It's actually this goes into where S. Roan says in the super chat, if you want to put that up, I have Georgia and Kentucky as my losses at this moment, Chad.
Interesting. Okay.
And the reason why is that, and again, I don't have the calendar in front of me, but I wrote about this. Kentucky has a bye week, and I believe it's on November the 9th. The following week, Chad, Kentucky comes back, and they play something like McNeese State, or there's some...
Yeah, Murray State.
Thank you.
That's a great call. I hadn't seen that. You're right. Bye week, Murray State, Austin,
right? Now look at Texas. Texas does Florida, then they're at Arkansas.
Correct.
And then they have the Kentucky game. So I'm essentially looking at Kentucky having about 2 weeks to prepare. Bye week, then Murray State, which is essentially a bye week, to prepare for Texas. But Texas is going to come off a Florida team that could be better than people think that they are. An Arkansas game that's going to be a tough road game. And then coming back, Kentucky is that sneaky game that I think if you're just kind of meandering through, that's the team that, could pull off the quote-unquote upset.
That is a brilliant look at a schedule. I've been trying to find those things too about who's on a bye, and this, that's a great point. The Wildcat meat in that rival sandwich for Texas is one thing, but I had not considered what the Wildcats are looking at. That's a great find. But I could see it.
That's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here for, Chad. Like I'm here to do things just like that, buddy.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thought because not beautiful thought, but I think a fan could understand how it could happen. If you get by all the emotions in Fayetteville and pull it off, and you get by all those emotions in College Station and pull it off, The one thing that might have to give way is like super prep for Kentucky and super focus on Kentucky. And we know that's a pretty good football team, if not a really good football team by the end of the year.
Football team. They're a good football team. They've got a former 5-star who's transferred in as their quarterback. Which I look at his season totals predictions for Prize Picks. I'm like, oh, this might be taking candy from a baby. That's a team that's good. And again, that's a team, Chad, that if you're a Texas person and Texas fan, and again, you've been doing the SEC for years, Chad. It's you would think it's Kentucky basketball school like that. That's just the thought, but and not necessarily saying like, you know what, they've gotten pretty damn good at football, right? Yeah, and if you just go into it just kind of like, that's Kentucky. We've got that. That's the trip. That's a trip up game, I think.
It definitely is. Kentucky came to Kyle Field a couple years ago, Anwar, with that really good running back. I can't think of his name right now. Game worried me to death. I think the Aggies got out of it and won it, but I was terrified because I thought, it was, again, are they going to pay attention to it and all of that? In terms of the Atlanta discussion, I came up with 6 teams that I think are fighting for Atlanta.
All right. Hold on. Let me write this down. And by the way, I actually will have buy or sell for you.
Beautiful. I got buy or sell for you too as well.
Okay. I'm going to stay here. You know what? I'm going to be here for you, Chad.
You're going to be here for the duration? You're not going to just jump in and jump out like an expert?
Yeah.
Look at you.
You know what? That's what friends are for.
Hey, don't make me sing Dionne Warwick for the people.
Keep shining, knowing you can always count on me for sure. That's what friends are for. Hey, come on.
There you go.
Times and bad times, I'll be on your side forevermore.
Oh, that's beautiful. Of course, she might have been a little better friend if she didn't make them all then call the psychic hotline. That's a whole nother. That's a whole nother topic. All right, so here are my 6 teams that I think are fighting for Atlanta. I want you to tell me first off, have I left anybody out? Okay, here are my 6, no particular order: Georgia, Bama, Texas, Ole Miss, Missouri, LSU. Those are the 6 I thought of, like, okay, who could get to Atlanta legitimately based on schedule, based on whatever it is. Those are the 6. Did I forget somebody?
Nah, that's it. I mean, realistically,
somebody could prove Florida could prove it. Florida or A&M, or you mentioned Kentucky. They could all prove it, but right now they don't feel like that to me.
No, when we start talking about top 2, though, Chad, how often does an Arkansas go from like a couple of wins to SEC championship the next year, right? I don't think the SEC is that kind of conference where you can have these teams just come out of the blue the way maybe you saw in the Big 12 where Baylor just rises up one year. You're like, where the hell did Baylor come from? Or TCU, you're like, damn, TCU's good this year, right? The SEC is top heavy. I think you can't go wrong with Georgia. I definitely can't go wrong with the Bama prediction as well. Texas should be in the mix. Ole Miss, to be honest with you, I think you could probably do a cutoff there. At that point, I think LSU is in the mix, but honestly,
yeah, LSU's tough for me, Anwar, because they do have a rough feel to a schedule. They play Ole Miss at home, they're at A&M, they play Bama at home, OU at home, and they're at Florida. Yeah, so, can they run that gauntlet and be a no loss or 1 loss? Or, I think we could agree. I think everybody would maybe agree today. If you have 3 losses in this SEC, you are probably not in Atlanta. Is that fair?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 3. Yeah, no, you're not in Atlanta at that point. And realistically, hell, Chad, you've got to expect at least one team is probably going to go undefeated in the conference. And that probably leaves you can only have one. Like Alabama last year, how many conference losses did they have?
Last year, Bama was.
Did they only have
1? Right.
1, right?
It would be 1.
So that's what I'm saying. Like 2 conference losses may not even be able to pull it in. Now, what's interesting, I'll be honest with you. I know someone said this on the screen. When you look at Ole Miss's schedule, I love their schedule.
Right.
Furman to start off with, Middle Tennessee State, Wake Forest, Georgia Southern. Right, we're 4-0 before we even blinked. Kentucky, but that's in Oxford, South Carolina. So we should be talking about win-win. LSU, that's in Baton Rouge. So now all of a sudden we got a tough game. Come back though, and Oklahoma has to come to Oxford. So again, that should be another win. Arkansas is another win. Georgia, again, that's in Oxford. Okay, we'll see what that looks like. And then Florida, and then Mississippi State. I mean, Georgia is the only one that I say, okay, that's your L.
Right. Ole Miss doesn't play Bama. They don't play Texas. They don't play Texas A&M. Not that they've had super troubles with the Aggies or anything, but like if they were going to College Station, you'd have to factor something like that in, but they don't. By the way, let's give Bama their credit. It was none, Anwar. I was thinking of the Texas game as the loss, and obviously that's not, it would be conference now. It wasn't conference then. That's the only game they had lost.
Wow.
Going into, the playoffs. So they did not lose a conference game. But to your question of, I mean, in your head, you said you think somebody's going undefeated. But let's remember, everybody has to play Texas or Oklahoma. Everybody does. And other than Texas and OU themselves, none of those other teams have been doing that. So when you're adding that one of those teams or the other to everybody's schedule, I'm not so sure, Anwar, it's a guarantee that we have an undefeated team.
Yeah, but what's Oklahoma in this conference to you, though?
Oklahoma is I think they're a dangerous element in the middle to upper middle part of this conference.
You put them in the upper middle?
Kind of an upper middle.
Wait, hold on. In your preseason rankings, and if you hadn't done it in your head, and we talk it out right now, do you have Oklahoma ranked higher than 8 in your preseason ranking? And we just talk it out, Chad. If you haven't done it, let's just go through the team. Because here, let me show you this. I did my show earlier, Chad. I still have my preseason in here, so this will be easier for you, right?
Okay.
So let me throw this on the screen. So this is my predicted SEC finish.
Right. Oh, wow. You had Oklahoma at 11. Look at that.
Tell me where you would put Oklahoma on this list ahead of who?
Yeah, I like the fact that you have the Aggies ahead of them. And I know a lot of people are similar to you. They think the Aggies are going to end up with more wins than OU. I might, when you look at it like that, in my head, I was going to have them in that 7-8 department. Like, could we make the argument right now? I mean, Oklahoma's going to play Tennessee early on. In fact, I think it's their first conference game. I think that's the first conference game ever that involves Texas or Oklahoma is that game. So could we make an argument that Oklahoma is as good or better than Kentucky and Tennessee?
Sure. Can you make an argument? Sure.
Because I would not put them above. I'll say this: I wouldn't put them above 7. 7 or 8 is in my gut is where. But to what they are, they're a dangerous team, but they're not the top. They're not the top of the conference to me. But you can't overlook them. I don't think OU is going to be some kind of doormat or some kind of massive disappointment. I think they're going to be a team you got to pay attention to.
Fair enough. You got a super chat came in, Chad. I'll let you get to that.
All righty. Let's jump in here, see what this one is. Justin says, super chat, $5. If Colorado State game is close and not a blowout, do we worry about our defense or offensive situation more at that point?
No. You know why, Justin? The Wyoming game was close going into the fourth quarter, and the following week they go on the road to Tuscaloosa and they win that game. So, and I think many people are like, is this team ready for Bama based off of that Wyoming performance? I think you got to know, Justin, that one, they're not going to put a lot of stuff on film for Michigan in that Wyoming game. And, so I take it back, the Colorado State game. I apologize. They're not going to put a lot of things on film. Like at that point, you just tell yourself, we're going to put something base out there, and then you want to switch it up against Michigan and have them, feeling that flex. So no, I don't think no matter what happens with Colorado State, no matter what you see, you just know the following week versus Michigan, you'll see something different. And I wouldn't worry about it, at all. Now, if they need a last second field goal, maybe. But outside of that, unless you see them getting dominated on the line of scrimmage, I wouldn't worry about that.
Man, oh man, Anwar, I can tell that the game hadn't been played and off-season mode is still in effect. Let me set the scene for you. Close and not a blowout. You're in the press box at DKR. Final score, Texas 27, Colorado State 23. You're telling me no fans are nervous? Come on, man.
I'm saying, okay, fair points, Chad. Like I will not say there won't be a meltdown of some points. The only thing that helps is that Texas will have a victory. And because Texas will have a victory at that point, then what helps in the conversation is that at least you can say to yourself, all right, first game, blah, 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 but we move on to Michigan. Colorado State, that's a really good team under Jay Norvell. That number 14 receiver was pretty good. They're supposed to be an All-American. You can excuse that stuff away because it's either that or you're Florida State versus Georgia Tech, and now the world is over. So at least with the win, you can move on.
That's true. I'm just saying there'll be a nerve or two.
You do have a point, Chad.
Because there ain't no math in the world like football math. When fans play football math, is this going to be good enough in Ann Arbor? Like it's a crazy game. But it's no crazier than this game, Anwar. Our favorite name right now on House Divided is Jacko. Jacko has returned with another $100.
$100?
Jacko, I'm not going to put your business out. I'm not going to put your business out on how many that is, but let's just say it's not the first. And Jacko, I hope it's not the last. Jacko in the house with a $100 super chat.
Do you have to give him a dance for that, Chad? Like, what's going on here?
No, Jacko,
you got to make it clap.
Not only do we love Jacko, Anwar, the main reason is Jacko, all he does is give. He doesn't even ask for anything. Return? No, he's never asked. I'm assuming it's a he. Jacko could be a woman, but Jacko has never asked us for anything. It's fantastic.
What if Jacko is a woman who's caught her man cheating and she knows he's a Longhorn fan? So just every day she's just like, you know what? $100 here, $100 there. What if she's just bleeding the account to say that? But no, more likely it's just a fan of you and Catch, right? Now, does he do it when Catch is here?
Yes, Jacko did do it when Catch was on. It was a show when we were both here, and now Jacko has continued. In fact, the reason he did it to start with is Catch was in a bad mood. He admitted he was in a bad mood. He was pissed off to start a show, and Jacko was like, here you go, get in a better mood, Catch. And I thought, well, damn, Catch needs to be pissed off all the time. But Jacko's just Jacko. We appreciate you, Jacko.
And he doesn't want anything, or she doesn't want anything in return.
Nothing in return. We also love you, Tracy. We love every bit.
First of all, that's T. Okay, Tracy. That I call him T. But you can call him Tracy. Okay,
that's T. Okay, there you go.
He's T to me. You call him T or T Will.
These are 3 different buy or sells. Buy or sell number 1, Chad has watched Martin's Suspicious Minds Nino Brown episode. That's a sell. I'm assuming you mean the show, Martin? Like,
yeah. I'll have to show it to you. Have you ever seen New Jack City?
I've never seen New Jack City.
Okay, well then, for me to even show it to you would be hard.
I need to see that movie. It's one of those that I haven't avoided it. It's gotten by me over these years, but it's not like I wouldn't watch it. The actors that are in it are incredible. I know there's lots of references people make. I've just never seen the movie.
You know what? As I was going to say something so bad. Never mind. I
Okay.
can't. You know what? My golden rule of thumb is that sometimes if you think you're going to say something that's funny or clever, you shouldn't say it. So I'm going to follow my own advice and shut up. Okay, go ahead.
There you
What's
go.
number two?
Number two, Texas will not cover the 32 spread. Man, I'm trying to think of what score I've had in my head this week. Let's see if it's that. God, that's right at it. I mean, it's such a good number. Like, it really is. Tracy, I will say sell right now, and I'll say the Longhorns cover the spread. And therefore, number three, the 60.5 over under will be under. Let's see what score was in my head for. Yeah, I think I'm going to go slightly under, but Texas covers, Anwar. What do you think?
Damn it. I muted myself so I can put in buy or sell. Yeah, I think they'll look. It's going to be Colorado is a beautiful place. South End Zone Queen lives there. She can tell us what the weather is like right now. Mm-hmm. I guarantee you it's not that Texas heat. And I'm sorry, when those guys get out there, and you can't simulate that. You can't simulate that. If I was Colorado, I actually would have set up camp here in Texas like a few weeks ago, and just to try to get used to that heat, or practice out in Arizona or something like that. Like, just move training camp somewhere. When they get out in that heat and we start getting into the third quarter and it's 100 plus in their body, Texas will run away with that.
Yeah. By the way, this is a great comment. Thank you for that super chat, $5 super chat, Tracy. We appreciate you. This is a great chat from Mike. If the game is close, I would look at Terry Joseph for why it is not. Mike, that's an interesting comment because, Anwar, if this game is close, it is because Colorado State can throw the ball, and it will be it'll be a look at that Texas defensive backfield, and there'll be some concern there. In fact, it might not even be concern that shows up in Ann Arbor because of opponents, but that might be a concern that shows up later on, like, I don't know, in Dallas against Jackson Arnold, if you're giving up a lot against Colorado State.
Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, and again, I don't know Terry Joseph, but I can tell you that if your title is pass game coordinator, well, the buck kind of stops with you as relates to the passing game, right? It just is what it is. And so when you've got the athletes, Texas feels like they have the athletes, whether it's recruiting or whether it's going through the transfer portal. When you've got all that, and if the passing game isn't better now where it should be, you got to look at somebody. And Terry Joseph will be that guy that they look at because he has the title as passing game coordinator. So, yeah, I think there's some pressure on Terry Joseph this season. You know, I know Sark has been really happy to say, I've got my original staff together and the camaraderie and what all that means. But at the end of the day, Sark needs to make a change, and it feels like a change needs to be made. Well, he did that in year one with Andre Coleman. He felt like a change needed to be made, and he wanted to get better at the receiver coaching position. And I think there is some pressure after last season when we saw guys that struggled with crossing routes against Houston, right? Or we saw, Penix hit God mode in that bowl game. Yeah, you want that secondary to be better, especially this season. So yes, there's some pressure against him. I wouldn't necessarily, Mike, go after week one, but if it becomes a trend, and here's where after week 4, you typically know what your team is. You would know at that point.
Yeah. Again, it's just about the how for me, Anwar. This is how Mummy's kid running the offense, literally, not some guy that was a mentor, mentee. No, this is his actual son. And if he puts up points against Texas, he's going to do it throwing the ball. So that's where I think that's where Mike and others might be thinking of the DB coaches for Texas. Here's a super chat that came in, Anwar. It's an easy buy for me. $4.99 ATX. Buy or sell. A&M will celebrate a win versus Texas in 24 more than when Manziel beat number 1 Alabama. That's a buy all day for me, Anwar.
Oh, yeah.
come on.
Yeah, I mean, because here's the thing, and you would probably appreciate what I'm about to say. Texas fans have held on to that walk-off field goal for so many years. That's been the scoreboard that they've been able to have over the Aggies for the longest period of time. And so you've had to hear that for how many years has it been since this game has been played?
Yeah, 12 full seasons have gone by.
So they've had to hear that. Then, of course, Texas comes and takes their baseball coach, and that hasn't felt really good. So that only adds a little bit more to the bitterness. So yeah, if Texas can actually pull that off, I mean A&M rather. Oh yeah, yes, absolutely.
And if it did happen, Anwar, if it could actually result in something truly meaningful for A&M, not that beating OU in that bowl game wasn't meaningful, but if it could really mean like Texas gets knocked down in the playoff or knocked out of the playoff, the Aggies are in the playoff. If any of that could actually happen, then absolutely, because it's got more substance. They beat Bama that year, but they'd already lost twice. They didn't go to Atlanta, and Bama won the title. So, yeah, I would think so. ATX, that's a good buy or sell, though. We appreciate you. We appreciate that super chat. I don't think there are any super chats right now. Anwar, I know you said you had to get some buy or sell taken care of. So,
yep. I got him in now, though.
You got him in? You good?
Yeah, I'm good now. But if you need to go to a commercial break, feel free.
Okay, I do need to let the folks know about sinus and snoring specialists. Since it is Wednesday, I will tell you, I've had 2 really good nights of sleep since this work week started. That's the way it's been for me since 2017. We were just talking about 2012 when the Aggies entered the SEC. So about 5 years into that is when I went to sinus and snoring specialist, had the procedure done, the balloon sinuplasty procedure, and some other things. They got rid of my allergies for good. If you have sinus headaches all the time, sinus infections all the time, they can deal with that. Snoring, sleep apnea. It might be Inspire that's the answer for you. It might be a CPAP that's the answer for you. It might be the balloon sinuplasty and some other things. They've got multiple options, surgical and non-surgical options that others don't have, because you're talking about over 20 years of experience with ear, nose, and throat. Go into sinus and snoring specialist. Tell them you heard about it on Orange Bloods Live. I would appreciate that. And Dr. Slaughter will meet you in the first consultation, and you will be off and ready to roll, and hopefully get you breathing better, feeling better, sleeping better, like they have for so many people. Sinus and snoring specialists feel clear, rested, and healthy. Anwar Richardson, nice enough to jump in today for Mr. Ketchum. Again, we want to wish Ketch all the best. He is recovering from COVID, took the kids to a big old spot where everybody was hanging out and ended up getting a little COVID. So hopefully he's going to be all right. Very,
Jacko added in another $5 super chat. Did you see that?
You know what? I did. I thought I marked it. Hang on. Yes, there it is. Jacko's letting us know. Oh, look at that. Happily married man. Jacko's just a supportive, happily married man.
Yeah.
That really likes House Divided. Jacko, we appreciate you. We appreciate that $5.
Yeah, I see Michael before that. He goes, man, Anwar been divorced too many times. First and foremost, how do we define too many? let's start there, Michael, my business. Define too many. 1, 2, 3. It doesn't matter. All that matters is that you get back on the horse, baby. You know what? So some might say I'm damaged. Others might say I'm a hopeless romantic. Nonetheless, don't matter. And guess what? And I'll do it again. Damn it. I'll do it again. Don't worry about me. I'm going to be all right. I'm going to listen. I need someone that's going to go with me on a Carnival cruise. We're going to wear matching T-shirts, matching outfits. And that's what I need in life, and I'm gonna have it. So don't worry about it.
Yeah, Anwar's been divorced the exact right amount of times.
Yeah,
as of today.
It takes a while to get it right, but I'm good now. I think I understand. Chad, I understand relationships a lot better now. I do. I get it now. I get it. Okay. You know what I get it now? I get the importance of letting things go. I get the whole just not holding on to stuff. Like I was always holding on to things, Chad, and I just wouldn't let things go. And I finally realized, like, man, some things you just gotta let go. Some things you just gotta accept that as it is. No one's perfect. You aren't perfect. And then also just stay where you're planted and don't worry about the other stuff. I'm finally in the place, Chad. Can I just, because he brings this up. Mm-hmm. As I sit on the couch here and kind of to talk about I'm in a place now where I don't even have to lock my phone. That's the kind of peace that I'm living in, man. And some bros don't. I don't have to lock it. My girl could go through it. I'm not even on that anymore. Like I am just living in peace and harmony. Like I got it. I finally got it. It's taken a long time, but I'm in a peaceful place. I'm happy. Me and my girl, we doing great. I'm good.
Look at that. The truth shall set you free. Say, honey, you want to know the truth? It's right there in that phone. Just pick it up.
No, not saying go in there. I did no. That's not encourage that kind of activity. Like I still will do like a face ID because I don't want somebody just to put my face up while I'm sleeping and then get on my phone. Like, I'm not crazy, all right? But I'm just saying, like overall, I'm at peace and I don't have to have secret apps and all those kind. I may or may not have had them in the past, but nonetheless, I'm at peace now. And I'm the person to listen to when it comes to relationships, because I can tell you how to mess one up. So if all it is the opposite to be true. If you do the opposite, you're gonna be okay. And Tess, are we living together? Hey, don't worry. It's all happening in a good time.
Look at this, Anwar. Michael, my business, $4.99. Here's to your Carnival Cruise Fund. There you go.
Hey man, I want to go. You just gotta find somebody. I gotta find someone that can push me in the wheelchair. Chad, that's what it is. That's the wheelchair test.
That's a good thing.
When you got to be in the wheelchair, will she be the woman that's like, yo, I'm going to go out there and buy the van for you? Or is she going to be the person that like pushes you off of Mount Bonnell or something because she's like, I can't deal with your ass anymore?
Yeah.
My girl passes the wheelchair test.
Just for the record, Michael, I was on a cruise this year. I think $4.99 will get you like a third of a Mai Tai. So just, I don't know. I don't know what you can do. I don't think $4.99 will get you a magnet of the ship you're on a cruise. I don't think that's just me. And by the way, Sandman, we love you, but I don't think this is real. I don't think this is how it works.
We can cash that.
The money emoji is not what clicks a super chat in. We see those super chats differently on our side, so we know when they're real. We don't think that's real. We're just.
Hey, let me say something to Text Blonde too. First, living together creates a whole different vibe. You're right. It creates positivity for those who are looking for it. It's all about what you put in. It's about that energy, And if you go into looking for the positive, you're going to see that. If you go into looking for the negative, that's what you're going to get. I don't want to be a life coach. I'm just trying to help you out. And as far as do I prefer white, black, Hispanic?
Oh, now they're trying to figure it out. Now they're really trying to figure you out, Anwar.
Hey, listen, I don't discriminate. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not over here checking cars, baby. I'm just, back in the day, I don't turn nothing down but my collar, but I'm good now. I like somebody that treats me good. That's all.
That is good. And Sandman reminds us to shut up and take my money. Thank you, Sandman. We thank you so much. Thank you so much for your super chat. We'll air quote that one. All right, we do have some good chats to get to. Anwar's got some buy or sell ready. I got some buy or sell ready. We will get back. If you want to throw us
they want to see my girl. They want to see my girl on the phone. There you go. Y'all can figure it out.
You got to look at you with the picture of her on the phone.
Yeah, that's my boo. That's my boo.
Look at that. You didn't even have time probably to create that. Like that was really there when you started talking.
I'm talking about. That's my girl.
Well done. Well done. All right. While we are playing buy or sell, y'all want to throw a super chat at us, Jacko, or anybody else. We will get to that as soon as we are done. Anwar, would you like to go first or second for buy or sell?
Oh, I want to go first.
Please do.
All right, Chad. Buy or sell number one. You would cheat on Jennifer Lopez with Kick Kennedy. Buy or sell?
Hang on. I'm going to have to look
So
up.
the story out there, Chad, is that Ben Affleck got caught cheating on J-Lo with Kick Kennedy, who's apparently one of the Kennedys of the Kennedy family. And the question is, if you had J-Lo at the house, and Kick Kennedy was saying, come on out for a little bit, you would go ahead and say, yeah, I'll cheat on J-Lo with Kick Kennedy.
That's a sell. I know there's this theory out there that no matter how good looking they are, both ways, right? Men, women, whatever, no matter how good looking they are, somebody's tired of their crap. I get that theory, but if it's J-Lo, Anwar, I'm going to have to sell on that. I just did a quick lookup of the person you're talking about. She's beautiful. She is beautiful, but she is no J-Lo. That is no J-Lo.
So you're not going to the divorce court over Kick Kennedy is what you're saying.
Because here's what you have to do, Anwar. I'm not saying there's not a woman alive that could create this moment, but you have to have a woman that if you turn to J-Lo, it'd be like, look, Jen, you know I love you, but come on. Like that woman needs to be something because you're saying it to J-Lo. So that's a sell for me. With all due respect to Kick Kennedy.
That's at 100%. All right. Buy or sell number 2. Chad, you'd rather Deion Sanders just stop holding press conferences than war against reporters. You buying or selling on this one?
Sell. When it comes to Deion and press conferences, I am the Joker in the Dark Knight. I just want to watch the world burn. I want the worst question possible. I want the craziest answer. I want sunglasses, jewelry, swearing. I want weird stories nobody knows how they connect. I want Saban name drops, Aflac commercials. I want it all when it comes to Deion. So I'm selling that. Bring on the circus when Deion and the media get together.
Now, have you heard of a university literally banning a report? I got a better question. I got a better question for you. I got a better question than that. If Deion was in Austin,
oh God,
which reporter would he ban? Kurt Bowles? Does he get a vote? Would he ban Kurt Bowles? Chip Brown? Would Chip get a ban potentially? I think he'd like Terry Mills. I think he'd like Terry a lot.
Oh my God, he and Terry would write a book together. Are you kidding?
Is there Brian Davis? Is there a guy that Deion would ban?
Knowing the people you just mentioned, and there's one specifically that I know, and because I got to work with him and be a little closer to him and kind of how he conducts business and all that type of stuff. I think Chip's the answer to that question. I think there'd be like a Deion Chip war. That's what I think would happen.
All right, you ready?
Yes.
Buy or sell number 3, Chad. You are ready for another season full of Taylor Swift at Chiefs games.
Absolute buy, because it's the only way my daughter actually cares about the NFL. So I welcome it. And hey, look, I'm a fan of the Cowboys and the Bucks, and neither of them really feel Super Bowl worthy this year. So I'm not threatened by the Chiefs in any way. Let's have some more Taylor shots in the suite. I got no problem with it. And again, it makes my daughter kind of look up from her phone, from her whatever social media she's on, to check out a little bit of a game. So I'm buying. I'm not a Taylor hater.
South End Zone Queen has it's gotten me to come off the Taylor thing. I think I went typical guy. Why is she in my games? I don't want to see her. Like I was that dude. Like, I don't want to see any celebrity. And I'm not a celebrity person, quite honest with you. Like, I don't watch award shows because I don't know what's going on in the world. Like, I live in my own little bubble. But you know what? They seem to have a real relationship. They seem to be in love. She's a worldwide influencer. Like, her power cannot be denied. And so at the end of the day, if they've panned to her supporting her man, I'm fine. It's 10 seconds out of my life that I don't care about. So I've come off of it, and maybe just believing in love.
Here's the other thing, Anwar. It also fits a basic rule of mine. During a game or any other kind of broadcast, if you're going to cut away to somebody like that, it really helps if they're pretty. And she's pretty. I live by the pretty people rule. And I don't know Taylor Swift. I know her music. But if you're going to cut away to her, if you were cutting away to some hideous person, that's different. And they're slobbering all over the suite and they're drunk and throwing up everywhere. That'd be different. Taylor Swift is not hard to look at. And I like the story. I'm with you. I root for them to be successful. Unlike other people, when famous people get together, I want it to work. I'm not one of those that says, it'll be 4 months. Like, no, I hope they're married. If they want to get married, I hope it lasts forever and they have kids and it's a great story. I root for this kind of crap.
So you're saying if Travis Kelce was with Lizzo, you would say, like, come on, stop panning to her, right? Is that what you would say?
Oh, I don't know if I would say that. Lizzo is one of those that, you know, there's a camera attraction for Lizzo. Yeah. I mean, it depends. Obviously, because Lizzo would dress up in the suite.
Would she? Have you seen some Lizzo outfits?
I mean, she would say she's dressing up. I might not agree with it every time. It would be
a G-string that she's wearing, but
I wouldn't do that. Right. We can't do, and for both of them, I would say, let's not get too revealing. I mean, Taylor doesn't do that. We wouldn't want Lizzo to do that. And Lizzo be flashing that big, beautiful smile. Absolutely. That could be okay. Because they don't flash near as much as we think they do. The guys that are flipping out about this need to take a breath. They're not cutting up to the suite that much. It's really not that much. It's just that the Chiefs score so damn much. It feels like they're going up there more because of who he is. He's the number one target, and, you know, it pisses us all off because the Chiefs are beating somebody.
Yeah. All right. Well, number 4 for you, buy or sell. Bronny James will have the worst rookie experience with his dad on the team. Hey guys, we're in Atlanta this week. Oh yeah, we're going out to the strip club. Oh yeah, Bronny, you gonna come? Dad, can I go? I mean,
man, I will.
Hey, the groupies are down in the hotel lobby. Bronny, come on.
You put a key word in there, and that is worst. I will sell. I'll try not to be super cynical here. I will sell and say it won't be the worst rookie experience, because it's not just you're on a team with your dad. Your dad does happen to be one of the greatest players that ever played, and you're in LA and you're a Laker. So I'll say it won't be the worst rookie experience. There have been worse. I think Bronny will figure it out.
Bronny gonna figure it out? Like, hey, bro. Hey, I mean, like, because Bronny can't go out. Bronny can't go out to the club, right? Because some people might say, well, he's underage, we'll let him in. Dad's gonna say you can't go there. The guys are bringing all we flew these girls in from Kansas City, and it's like, Bronny, do you know who they are? Like, da-da-da, like, he won't be able to just be like cut loose, right?
Now that's true, but you said worst rookie experience.
The one word,
right?
I mean, that's fine.
To be fair, that word's doing some heavy lifting in your buy or sell.
That's very true.
Right?
And by the way, Jay Lee said, I heard that, and that's just
come on now.
Not nice, Jay.
Come on, Jay.
Not nice. All right, Chad. I got one more for you.
Okay.
Last one.
Yeah.
Let me find it here. This Oscar De La Hoya video that I'm about to show you will make you want to get a prostate exam. You will not be able to unsee what I'm about to do to you here. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Hey everybody, so a lot of you thought that we were crazy with the first video that we made, but all we really wanted to do was bring awareness to the tatas into the peckers because it is that time of year for you to get a prostate exam and a mammogram.
Let's knock out cancer.
We gave a $50,000 donation to White Memorial Hospital so we can help as many of you get the exams that you need. This is a lighthearted way to say it, but it is a very serious issue. We love you. Hey, everybody.
Wow. That is a hell of a message right there. First off, man, God love both of them. That is about the thirst trappingest way to tell people to get an exam I have ever seen. We're going to tell you to get an exam by showing you just how hot we are. Like, we are so attractive. This is what we're doing. Obviously, I would have told Oscar to wear something different, but my God, he is still in incredible shape. The abs and the chest and all that. Oh, my Lord.
I don't think that's what he wanted you to focus on.
That is not what he wanted me to focus on, but that is where I was
okay,
focused.
so we're clear.
I picked a focus point, Anwar, and I went north of it. That's exactly what I did. And did he end up punching bag one of her? That was fantastic. Yes, bye. That does make me want to get a
that inspires you to say, you know what?
Yes.
I need to get my prostate checked.
It inspires me. Absolutely. That is inspirational.
I want to know if it inspires the women to say it's time for me to go get a breast exam.
Man, yeah, that I don't know. That I don't know if they did. Because every guy and every woman, we're all thinking the same thing. Like, hey, if I go get that exam, I don't look like you, right? Every woman is thinking, yeah, because that's what my boobs look like. And all the guys are thinking, right, because that's the body I'm going to haul into the doctor for a prostate exam. Come on, Oscar. Yes. Yeah, that's motivational, though. I'll give you that.
And yeah, Jamie, that package is too small, so don't even worry about it.
All right, let me just do a quick scan here. I don't see any super chat. No, we got that one. Okay. All right, that's half of buy or sell. Let's take a quick breath here, and we'll let Lisa tell you about Specs. Game day's coming. Get stocked up.
Specs same-day delivery can save the day with our Specs app or online shopping. From world-class wines to hard-to-find spirits and craft beers to gourmet foods, delicious snacks, and spectacular sweets. It's Specs. Cheers to savings.
Last weekend when I went to the Deep Eddy Vodka tasting room, I did pick up a bottle of Deep Eddy Vodka, but if you can't get out there, I get my Deep Eddy Vodka out at Specs. And all the other stuff I need, beer, whiskey, whatever you need. Specs has got it for you. All right, Anwar, here we go. We will focus in on a lot of football in this buy or sell, and we'll start here. Buy or sell number one, leading wide receiver in yards, Bond. Leading wide receiver for touchdowns, Bolden.
Ooh.
It's a package deal. Got to have both.
Sell.
Okay.
I think Bond ends up being the leader in both. Here's why. Last year, if you look at it, hold on, and I just had this up from last year. Yeah, so Adonai Mitchell led the team. Well, actually, no, that's right. Wait, Xavier led the team in yards, but Adonai led it in touchdowns.
Okay.
Ooh, okay. So Xavier led the team last year with 1,014 receiving yards, but had 5 touchdowns. Adonai had 845 yards, but had 11 touchdowns. So I thought Adonai had both. He did not. I don't know if they're Silas Bolden touchdown wise. I think Bond has both. Okay. I think Bond will have both this year. I think it's a hell of a question, but I think at the end of the day, I'm going to go with Bond leading this team in yards and TDs. I think he ends up being the number one guy in both of those categories.
All right, fair enough. Let's go to the quarterback. Buy or sell number 2, Anwar. Quinn will be in New York for the Heisman ceremony. Could be a top 3, could be a top 4, could be a top 5. That's as many as I think I've ever seen in my life that get invited, but he will be invited to New York.
Top 3 means he's one of the top at least 2 quarterbacks in the country, assuming they, have another position. that goes, right? So maybe there's like some running back that gets invited or something to that effect, a defensive player. There's always some outliers there.
Remember, the only reason they go to 4 or 5 is about votes. If they spread the votes out enough, that's when they'll invite a 4th or 5th. They used to invite 5 just anyway, but now they've gotten it. If it's clearly 3 guys in the voting, they'll keep it at 3, or they'll expand it out if they need to. But you're right. Like if Quinn is having this kind of season, he's going to be in that first grouping. He's not going to be straggling in.
I'll sell on it.
Okay.
I'm going to sell on the Heisman thing. I'm not quite ready to, now we're talking probably 4,000 plus yards, 30 plus TDs, only a handful of interceptions. I'm not quite sure that's what that's going to look like for Quinn, because I don't necessarily know Texas needs to put up those kind of numbers for him to be successful. Now, it would really take, Chad, it would take padding of the stats early for Sark. Like, he would have to say, okay, I'm keeping Quinn in versus Colorado State into the fourth quarter. Michigan, a hell of a win. Coming back, UTSA, I'm keeping him into the fourth quarter. La Monroe, Mississippi State. I think that there's just too many opportunities for him to play Arch and get Arch up to speed. So because of that, I'll sell on it. I don't know if he's going to have the numbers that people would say are Heisman rating.
That will be a really interesting part of Saturday. If Texas handles their business and really lays it on Colorado State, when do you see Arch Manning is going to be a big question.
Third quarter
in that game. Right. Does he get the second half? Does he get the fourth quarter? Or is it a game? Does Texas mess around and make it too close and he doesn't get the opportunity? We'll have to see. All right, Anwar, speaking of that game, somebody threw it in and I'll throw it at you. Buy or sell number 3, Texas wins and covers 32. Do you have the cover number in effect?
Yeah, I think they'll win. I think that's what I said earlier. I think the Heat will play a factor with Colorado State at some point. I mean, I think that, I don't think Sark, especially when Arch comes in, is going to stop passing. He's going to want Arch to get reps. I think the thing is, it's the thing that Sark talked about in the spring, I think becomes relevant within these first 4 games or so, which is they want to make sure that Arch is ready to go, that if, God forbid, something happens to Quinn, and you've got to make sure you can't just have Arch come in and just hand off the ball like that. That's not a formula to make sure you're ready. God forbid, if you need him in week 7 or 8 or 9 or 10, you've got to happen. And look, he knows ever since, and this plays into the 32, but ever since Sark has been here, he's had a quarterback that's gotten hurt. Okay. He had right. Casey Thompson have that hurt thumb, right? He's had Hudson Card had to sustain the injury, right? And they both were injured in one game, and they both those guys were out. He's had Quinn Ewers sustain an injury over the last couple of years, right? So he's seen his quarterbacks and what that looks like. Getting Arch up to speed was one of the main goals. And so when Arch comes into these games, he's not just going to say, well, just hand off to Jarrett Gibson or hand off to, whoever. He's going to say, Ryan Nibley, he's going to say, I need you to throw the ball so you're ready. So I think they continue to score.
Yeah, good news in that regard. Now they have that extra non-conference game. Yeah. Now that they're in the SEC, an extra non-conference game that should, hate to use the S word, but should get Arch a little, extra opportunity before you get into conference play. All right, Anwar, let's go to another big game in the state. Buy or sell number 4, A&M beats Notre Dame.
I'm sell on that one.
Going Notre Dame.
I'll go with Notre Dame.
You know what? I'm glad to hear it. Too many people picking the Aggies. Thank you for saying that Notre Dame's I got a half a mind just to pick Notre Dame to try to help the karma of this thing. Too many people picking my team, Anwar.
Yeah, I don't know why. I could talk myself into certain things as relates to that, but at the end of the day, Notre Dame is more of a. I think Aggies have to figure things out in real time. Like there's so many things that they got to figure out in real time.
Yeah,
Notre Dame won't necessarily have to figure those things out, but with new staff, new communication, like all these things, the chemistry, the camaraderie, all that will play a factor, and so it's hard for me to just think in all of a sudden they just flip a switch and everything is clicking right then. This might be a team that towards the end of the year could be a dangerous team, right? And I think that, but to say that just week one, they come out like gangbusters just because of Elko and the QB, I'm not necessarily ready to say that. They have talent. Don't get me wrong. A&M has talent, but I'm not quite sure we'll see that in week one. That just leads to a victory. So no, okay. I'll go with Notre Dame on that one.
That's interesting. Yeah, I think that's well said. That's a good way to say it too. All right, Anwar, finally, we will finish with a philosophical buy or sell find out what kind of guy you are. Here we go. Okay. Buy or sell number 5. The best concert experience is better than the best movie experience.
Oh, buy. I can't. There's nothing from a movie experience that I've said like it that I think back to and I say to myself, like, wow, I just remember that. There may be good movie moments, but I can replay a movie at my house, right? I mean, it's here in August, and I can watch it on Amazon Prime in another month or two. But the concert experience, I've been to. I love all kinds of music. I'll just be honest with you. I'm a music person. I have seen, you can name most of the older hip hop people. I've seen those people, right? I've seen the Jay-Z's. I've seen Lil Wayne. Like I've seen Uncle Luke. Like I can go down the list of stuff. But then I've also seen Mark Anthony in concert 2 times, and he's phenomenal. You don't have to know the language and then the music. I've seen Billy Joel. I've seen Elton John. I've seen Aerosmith in concert 2 times, right? So I've seen I haven't seen Taylor Swift. I'm sure South End Zone Queen would love to drag me there. But nonetheless, though I can think back to those great moments. By the way, I got a funny story. Mm-hmm. So speaking of concerts, so I had a friend of mine, this years ago, I was in Florida, and it was like early 20s. And you do like security stuff. Those people wear like the yellow outfits, the whatever the security people call. And you would just, it was like we was in college, so you could get like extra money to do security. Now, think of me as even skinnier back then. Whatever you think I am now, drop 30 pounds, right? And go back to that guy. So I'm working a Rolling Stones concert, right? Okay. And I'm supposed to do security. Now, a week before, a couple weeks ago, I did like a Billy Joel, Elton John one. I was just kind of in the section 100 on the lower level, just standing there. I don't give a damn, right? This concert, though, Chad, they put me on stage.
No.
And like, so literally, like Mick Jagger is walking past me all throughout the concert, right? That's like, awesome. I'm standing there on stage, and I'm thinking to myself, Mick, you on your own if anyone bum rushes the stage, dude. I'm getting $40. I'm not tackling a damn person, but I'm standing there with my skinny little arms on stage. And I'm like, if there ever was a time to take out Mick, this is the time, because you can literally get past me.
Now, what year? Okay, give me an idea what year we're talking about here.
It had to be 93, 94.
94. Okay, so we're talking Voodoo Lounge Stones. Mick and the guys are a little older, and Mick comes on stage and sees you and probably thought, well, damn, I weigh more than that guy.
He did, yeah. Like, he had that slow muscle. I was like, this guy's cut. The guy who opened up for them, who was that? Who was the guys that sang that, like that Little Miss Can't Be Wrong? You know that song?
Spin Doctors.
Spin Doctors had, I believe, that's the guy with the beard, right? He had a
red beard.
Yeah,
a reddish beard.
So they had opened up for them.
Oh,
and then so I got to see them. He actually climbed, and I was on stage for that. And he climbed like a speaker. It was a really weird thing that he climbed up there like these long speakers. And then it was there for the late show as well. So definitely happened, thank God.
I'm the only person in the world that would be jealous of that show from the Spin Doctors perspective as well, because I always dug the Spin Doctors, never saw them live, But to see them open for the Stones would have been very cool. I like
it. Was
that.
a very unique experience. I want to say it was in like no, it wasn't Gainesville, like outside Orlando. It wasn't in the Tampa area, but I do remember that though.
I'm just trying to imagine the person that would have had to rush Mick where you would have felt confident to tackle their ass.
It would have to be a little person.
Would it have to be like a 14-year-old boy? Would it have to be like a, like a 14-year-old?
Football back then or not? It all depends. It all depends on what kind of 14. Like, are we talking like Harry Potter 14? Or are we talking like I played for like, St. Thomas Aquinas? Like that.
Right. Not like what Nick Brooks probably looked like at 14. This kid out of Georgia.
Mick is on. He's on his own at that point, man. I'm like, man. Like I would have made at least an attempt to make it look good, but Mick would have had to just catch whatever was coming to him at that point.
That is awesome. That is awesome. All right, that's how we buy or sell. Let's clean off some of these chats. We've had some nice ones. Look at it. Look at this nice chat from Ashley. I love the Chad and Anwar show. Look at that.
Yeah, that is. Is that my glasses are there. Is that Ashley's child, or is that a avatar of Ashley? Like, what is that?
We've assumed that is Ashley, and that Ashley is, I don't know. My estimate would be Ashley's age probably starts with a 2.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, yeah, I can't. Again, right? I got to do old man status to kind of look it in and like look there, so it kind of gets
Good Lord. All right. Yes. Thank you so much, Ashley. We appreciate you. This is Jay Lee talking about the Heisman. Anwar says Chad wants the vote before the playoffs. I want it after. We had that discussion the other day. I want one of those two things. Either leave it where it is, or Ketch was saying go all the way till after the championship game. Do you have a thought on that in terms of would you move the vote at all? Or the ceremony, rather, would you move it till later on?
No, because I think it should be based off the regular season. I think for something like that, I think you could, because now all of a sudden, what if a guy was good and then just caught lightning in a bottle for like 2-3 games in the playoffs? Now all of a sudden that person's your Heisman winner, but what about what about those other 12 games? So no, I think once you get past like the conference championship game, I think all things are equal. You go from there. But no, I'll leave it at that. And somebody said, by the way, I'm old. Thank you, Ashley, for defending me, because old is wise. First of all, I'm not old, Bradley. I'm not old. I'm older. But first of all, for my age, I feel like I'm doing pretty good, Chad. Like I think like Sanford and Son. I think he was like in his 50s, Red Fox, when he started Sanford and Son. And I think I'm doing all right for 50. I feel pretty good for 50, to be quite honest with you. So I don't feel like I'm old. I feel good about myself. I'm
not. Yeah, not only do I agree with you. I think you are looking good, and I definitely think it's a good idea to whatever you look like to compare yourself to Fred Sanford. Like that was a good move. I like that comparison was excellent.
I think Red Fox. Do you have anything that says there on there? When? Oh, I got the option there. I need to get rid of. I'll go. How old was Red Fox?
I'll let you do Red Fox research.
Yeah. How about this? In real life? Oh my God! Check this out. I got it for you. Ready?
Okay. Here it is.
Hold on. Let me go here.
Okay.
Oh snap! I'll try to see if I can get this picture. Okay, here we go. Let me check this out.
Red Fox was 35 when they filmed the show. Probably.
You got it? Is it on there?
I see it. I see red, and I see
48. 48.
Shut up. Are you serious?
He started doing Sanford and Son. He was.
See, that's a makeup deal. They probably grade that hair up. They did that for him.
So I feel pretty good, and be quite honest with you, that's what he looked like now, because he did other stuff too. But
that is crazy.
They probably did a little bit of makeup, but he was 48. So when he started season 1.
And Anwar, trivia question. What famous comedian was a writer for Sanford and Son along the way?
Ooh, that's a good one. Richard Pryor?
Very good. Yeah. Kind of a sad time because it was one of those jobs he had to have versus a job he probably wanted at the time. But yes, he worked a little bit with can you imagine that? Richard Pryor writing for Red Fox? Like that's
You think he showed up, or you just think he was on drugs after the time and never showed up for work? I mean, there's some Richard Pryor stories out there. I think he might get a writer's credit, but I can't imagine him just showing up and saying, "Okay, well, let's see what we're going to write down here, Fred. Let's do. I think Sanford says Lamont. Yeah, you're a big dummy." Like, I don't think he showed up for that.
All right. If I had known I was going to get a Richard Pryor impersonation out of you today, we should have gotten into that way earlier. That was fantastic. That was fantastic.
Thank you.
My goodness. All right. Let's see. What else do we have?
How long does this show go to?
It was, we normally go.
How long is this damn show, Chad?
Hey, you said you were in. Are you?
I didn't realize y'all kept going this long. Golly.
Well, I was gonna clean off some chats, but if you need to run, you can
kill some chats.
I was gonna ask if you know this. You're the reporter, and you would know. Adam says Jimbo got a new gig. I didn't see the story. Did you see it?
No. Let me look on X though, because honestly, after I do my show, I try to just kind of take some time to be for myself.
Right. Maybe you got an analyst.
I don't see anything. Oh, Sirius XM announces that Florida State and Texas A&M coach Jimbo Fisher will co-host a weekly show. Oh, Lord. He's going to co-host a weekly show with EJ Manuel and Jacob Hester on College Sports Radio. Fisher will appear on Tuesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Time on Off Campus.
Nice. And that'll be good because while he's on, EJ and Jacob Hester can go to the bathroom or eat or do whatever they need to do because he will fill that time.
That's a fascinating thing that typically the road back to relevance is doing TV. That's what you typically find most coaches doing. It's kind of weird to do radio. Then again, he's got all that Aggie money. He ain't got to do a damn thing. I guess I'll just do something today. I'll just do some radio for fun.
And again, it's talking. He can do that all day. Like he will throw words at you.
I always felt bad to any reporter who had to transcribe Jimbo. That had to be brutal.
I never actually did it, Anwar. I always wanted to take 60 seconds of him and 60 seconds of Tom Herman and just see how many words, the difference in words. I just didn't have the patience to actually count it out. To the earlier conversation, before you came on, I mentioned, because Daddy Sorrell jumped in, made a comment about Barron, and I said I'd never really seen a badass 88 off the edge. Somebody says Brackens. Brackens was 98. Okay. Brackens wasn't, if I'm not mistaken, Brackens was 98, not 88. Can you think of a badass 88 off the edge in college, Anwar? Obviously, it'd have to be college. They don't let the NFL guys wear it. But I can't think of one off the top of my head. That's another reason I want Barron Sorrell to become this stud so that we can see that. Like 88 crushing quarterbacks is unique to me.
Yeah, I can't think of, 88 is usually a receiver's number. So that's not something that you see from a defensive line perspective.
Texas fans could double check me. The only Texas guy I can even think of is Cedric Reed. Wasn't that his name?
That's what Sandman just said.
Yeah. Cedric Reed is the only 88 I could think of at Texas that was, that was that. And Cedric was good, but wasn't Cedric D tackle? Wasn't he on the interior?
Yeah. So I'm just trying. I can't off the top of my head. I think your point. Fact here, Chad. I always simplify things in life. The fact that we can't think of one at this moment that pops says all you need to know about that position is number 88. So your point is proven.
All right, couple other chats here real quick. One of our chatters thinks A&M loses by 14 on Saturday. What's the national reaction, Anwar, if Notre Dame wins by 2 touchdowns on Saturday night?
Oh my gosh, it's more pro Notre Dame than it is anything else, right? Notre Dame's in that weird situation where they're not in a conference.
Correct.
So because of that, the best that they can get is the number 5 seed.
Correct.
So so they have to push the envelope. So they need these kind of wins because no matter what, outside of the 5 seed, they're probably on the road somewhere.
Yeah,
potentially.
By the way, Anwar, here's their schedule after A&M. You ready? Let's say they win by 14. Here's their schedule: Northern Illinois, at Purdue, Miami of Ohio, Louisville, Stanford, Georgia Tech, which sounds
well. Hold on,
right? Got to deal with Haynes King.
Got my attention now.
Navy, Florida State, Virginia, Army, at USC. So
they beat A&M. I mean, they can run the table.
Right. There's the winner of that game. I've been saying the winner's going to get overcooked too much. The loser will get undercooked. But if it's Notre Dame specifically because of that schedule, look out. The Irish then become a huge talking point, especially if they win it by 2 touchdowns on the road.
Huge. I mean, yeah. Where are they ranked now, Chad? Where's Notre Dame ranked at this moment?
7? Isn't that right?
I mean, that's top. They're leapfrogging. They're leapfrogging a few people at that point if they do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Christopher, thank you for the question. And we'll finish off with a couple on Texas, Anwar, that I liked. First off, just a big old bunch of confidence from Stanley. 12-0 with the Texas D being the story. Top 15 secondary will be a strength. The line's still top 10 against the run due to the linebackers making plays. So Stanley thinks it'll be a defensive strength that makes this team 12-0. And I think that will get them to Atlanta, Anwar. I'm out on a limb there. I think that gets them to Atlanta.
Listen, I want to make Atlanta an annual trip, So first, I got my cousins that live there. My uncle lives there. It's looking like it's just all about me at this moment, right?
Sure.
I've said nothing about Texas, right? Right. But I think the thing, the thing I do appreciate about Sark, the chat, I think you would agree with this, is that when you start talking to coaches about expectations, the majority of them shy away from it. They don't want any parts of the conversation, right? And so if you try to pin them down, they'll just say, we're taking it one game at a time. We don't look ahead. I love that Sark says, you know what, we're at University of Texas. The expectation is for us to compete for championships, to compete for a national title. And that's exactly what we're going to do. Like, I love that. I'd love to hear that because every other coach dances around the expectation portion of it. And so I'm glad. It's refreshing to me that he doesn't shy away from it. He embraces it. He feeds that into his team. So this way they know this is what we're competing for all off season. We're trying to win a natty. We're not trying to just take it one. We're not trying to just go 1-0, right? And yes, you can go 1-0, but it's okay to say our goal is to go 12-0. You're right. And it's okay. Right. But we're going to go 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, and go all the way to 12-0. That's the goal. So I really like that. And I'm okay with Stanley saying 12-0. From your mouth to God's ear, Stanley.
There you go. Yeah, I thought the best thing he said at his presser Monday might have been, we're going to run the ball between the tackles.
Yeah.
When somebody set that up about, hey, if you have to run the ball between the tackles, he just immediately, we're going to run the ball between the tackles. We're going to be who we are. And
I love that.
Yeah, even if he's wrong, right? Like you said, even if he ends up being wrong, he's laying out the idea that that's what they're going to do. Yes. Thanks to Jamie, Jalen Carter, 88. Yeah. Okay. There you go. It's a recent name with 88.
Yeah, it is. It is. I don't know how much we call him that super badass, but I think that's fair. Yeah. That's a better 88 than I've come up with.
Absolutely. He definitely was good.
I do like that. Like that.
That's Georgia, right? That's one of the bad.
Yeah, he was an interior guy though, but still.
Yeah, that's true. He's interior again, off the edge. It's gonna be unique. Come on, Baron Sorrell, get it done. Chad says, while the SEC championship would be nice as long as Texas goes 10-2, the Horns make the CFP. I don't like playing an extra game. More chances for injury.
I'll be honest with you, both Chads, Chad 1 and Chad 2.
Mm-hmm.
I find this conference championship game interesting because you can't take it away. It's too much money to have it taken away. Like no conference will agree to get rid of a conference championship game. But the injury factor, potential for a loss that maybe can knock you out of the playoffs. Let's say you're at that 10-2-ish thing, and then all of a sudden you lose and you get knocked out. Now all of a sudden it's like, damn, well, if we didn't play this game, we would have been in. And now all of a sudden we're on the outside looking in, and now all of a sudden maybe another team that's 10-2 but doesn't play in the conference championship game, they're in. So the losers potentially get penalized a little bit. So I get the like, but you can't get rid of it. It's too much money though.
Yeah, because if you go to that game where if you won it, you get a bye. It's the team that loses it that truly gets an extra game. Like to Chad's point here, there's really no extra game if you don't go to Atlanta. You got to win 4 games. You got to win the first round, then you got to win quarter, semi, and final. If you lose in Atlanta, you'd have to do all of that plus play the game in Atlanta.
Yeah.
So that's where you get the extra game. But I agree with you, Chad. 10-2, making the CFP. I'll keep saying it. Make the playoff, live up to your seed. That's what Texas needs to do. And Anwar, after looking at all these different sort of tie-breaking type stuff and teams that I think are fighting for it, I just don't know how it's all going to shake out. I look back in 2022, we would have had one team that's in for sure and a 4-way tie for second place. So you've gotten rid of divisions, and it's a 4. And again, I'll flash it up briefly. We don't have to read through it, but I have this for when we need it, Anwar. Just in case. Like I've got it for all this stuff they're going to use. And
so what happened? Where'd it go? I was going to go through it.
And the basic version, I'm saying we don't need to necessarily read through all of it unless you do, but that's how they're going to do it this year. 6 different steps to what happens. And I think, we could get down to cumulative, the fourth one, cumulative conference winning percentage, and maybe get to capped relative scoring margin. Hopefully we don't have to get to the random draw at the bottom, but I don't know. I got a weird feeling in this first year. I think we're looking at least one time we're going to have to look at that thing to find out who goes to Atlanta.
Well, I think you're correct because I think Chad, once you get past there'll be a clear-cut number one, right? It's going to be, Georgia runs the table, Texas runs the table. There'll be that, but there's going to be another team that potentially has 1 loss, maybe even 2. And that will be that will be the interesting thing, and it may only be 1 loss, but it's going to be wild. It's going to be wild when it's all said and done.
So that's just one of those things to sort of keep in mind, and that's why I'm not absolutely certain of anybody getting to Atlanta right now, because I think everybody has tough enough stuff in their schedule. I can't stamp anybody for undefeated right now. I just can't do it. I mean, I think Georgia's a badass team. They're my pick to win it all, Anwar, but I can't pick them to go perfect right now. Not looking at their schedule. Georgia has to play in Austin. They play Clemson coming up this week. They play at Bama and at Ole Miss. I cannot guarantee right now. I wouldn't put my money in Vegas right now to say, oh, yeah, they win all 4 of those. No problem. No problem. I can't do it.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely with you. Like, and they're on the road in Tuscaloosa as well, right? So, and that's the other thing. They're on the road in Tuscaloosa. They're on the road versus Texas. They're also at Ole Miss, right? So those are at least 3 road games. I forget the other one that you had mentioned, but
yeah, and that doesn't count the cocktail party, which we always have to respect that one. A big rival game right in the middle of your season.
Yes, but their 3 toughest games are on the road. And that's if you say they beat all 3 teams on the road today, I would tell you I don't think so. I don't think
yeah, right. And by the way, this is good. Uncle Mickey says coin flip at the truck stop, the number 7 thing. Uncle Mickey, at least it's step 6. Remember that year where the Big 12 had
don't think that the high school coaches do stuff like that, right?
They do.
Back in the day, yeah.
They used to do coin flips, and now they do a zip code game where one of them will pick a town. One of them picks odd, one picks even. The other one picks a town. and then whatever like zip code that town is, the last number, odd or even, that's how they'll determine it. So they don't truly flip coins anymore. They do weird stuff like that.
I would rather have the coin flip.
I
don't even understand. I literally don't understand what you just told me.
But Anwar, here was the great thing in the Big 12 that I thought was a little silly. It was like step 3 or 4. They literally had it in their bylaws that they were going to take a hat and write the team's names in a hat and put it in a hat and draw. Like they literally spelled it out in their tie-breaking rules.
They were writing it on a hat?
No, in a hat. Like they literally, teams in a hat. They literally specified that they would get a hat and put the names in a hat and draw.
I'd prefer a little better game of rock, paper, scissors between the coaches.
That would be good.
I would rather the coaches get together for the ultimate rock, paper, scissors game and see what they go with.
Yeah, that could be good. That could work.
Yeah.
Phil says 11 and 1 and 3 10-2 teams sounds like a mess. Phil, that might be a way to do it. I'll give you another weird example, Anwar. I looked at the last 10 years. In 2017, the 3 teams that were tied were Auburn, Bama, and Georgia.
Okay.
And Auburn beat both of the other 2 teams. So Auburn had beaten Bama in the Iron Bowl, and they beat Georgia. But I looked at it for, I don't know, couple minutes, 3 minutes, and I can't figure out who the other team should have been between Bama and Georgia if they didn't have divisions. Wow. They didn't play each other. So you didn't play each other, and I think their record against the conference was exactly the same, and you'd have to dig into all that stuff. So that's just.
Hey, by the way, before we get out of here, I was going through my email real quick. This will be a note for you. You ready?
Yeah. Yeah.
Johnny Manziel is joining the Action Network as a guest contributor for the 2024 college football season. Okay. Manziel will appear on Big Bets on Campus franchise, giving out his Hail Mary pick of the week every Saturday morning live, 10:30 a.m. on the Action Network app.
How about that? Johnny Manziel throwing out picks every week, huh?
Yeah, there you go. So it gives you something to look forward to, Chad. While you do your prize picks, you have your other picks to do.
What could possibly go wrong? That's fantastic. What a fantastic idea. All right. Before we close it up, I don't think I've told the people about Hayes City Store today. Let me do it. I will mention that chicken fried steak because it's incredible. But also, if you love a good pork chop, and man, do I love a good pork chop. They've got 3 of them: grilled, blackened, chicken fried. They're all incredible. I've had them all because I got to do the research for you people. And let me tell you, the gravy is worth the trip. It's that good. The cream gravy that they have with these pork chops that you get with the chicken fried steak, chicken fried chicken, whatever it is, it's top-notch gravy. Remember when Chris Rock told us back in the day, gravy's a whole nother matter? I'll leave the first part to y'all. But it is a whole nother matter. And when it's done well, you got to sing it to the mountaintops. And that's what you do with Hayes City Store. Plus all the great drinks, plus the atmosphere. Get on out there. They got screens too to watch games. Hayes City Store out there in beautiful Wimberley, technically in Driftwood, right between Kyle and Wimberley. Go see them at Hayes City Store. All right. Anwar Richardson was nice enough to jump in. He went the whole way today. Look at this.
No one loves you like I love you, Chad.
Look at you. I appreciate you.
No one loves you like I know. Because I understand what it is to do a show by yourself, Chad. I understand. I do that every day, every morning. And so I understand like the complexities and how tough it is when your co-host is not there. And so, so what my trade-off is, I've done my show this morning, did a little work, done this for a few hours. I ain't doing a damn thing for the rest of the day. You will not see me on Orange Bloods. You will not see me on Twitter. You won't see me on anything. I am done.
Yes, absolutely. By the way, Chad throws in a quick question. Yes, Chad. Brian Jones, 120 tomorrow. We are counting on that.
I didn't know what he was talking about.
Every Thursday. You never know what Brian's going to talk about.
Hey, can y'all just say Brian Jones? Because I was like, oh, I don't know what part of the show this is, but I'm about to leave.
No.
I won't be here at 120 tomorrow. I'm gonna be here 1 o'clock.
Dadgum. Well, walked right into that one, didn't we there, Chad?
You
Thank
gotta
you so much.
verbalize, man. Sometimes you don't need. You just gotta say Brian Jones.
Brian Jones tomorrow at 1:20. Absolutely. Thank you for liking and subscribing and getting your notifications. Remember, tomorrow night on a Thursday night will be the War Room. Anwar, is there any media availabilities the rest of the week that you're going to be dealing with?
I don't know. No, I'm sure we'll have Sark tomorrow at like 11:30, something to that effect. He usually does his Thursday availability. So I'm sure that'll be, like I said, it'd be 11 or 11:30, depending on when time practice gets over.
There you go. All right.
You have some reaction. You have something to react to for sure.
Get to orangebloods.com for all the latest on that and reactions. And, of course, we got Football with Friends coming up at 6. We got Outsiders tonight at 8:30. We'll make some picks on games tomorrow morning, bright and early at 9 o'clock with that handsome bastard right there. There he is. Double thumb.
It's political season, right? That's what you're supposed to do, right? It's what's that movie Eddie Murphy was in when he tried to run for office? I forget what the name of that one is, but
The Distinguished Gentleman, is that what
yeah,
they
I
call
think
it?
it was something like that, right?
Yeah.
It's political season now.
There
Yeah,
you go.
9 o'clock in the morning. A lot of y'all who are here, some of you who I don't necessarily see, like y'all, you should come and check out my show. Like Michael, My Business. I don't think I've ever seen him on the show. There's new names that I've seen that I'd like. Sometimes Jeffrey Dumas, Phil Arnold doesn't always pop in. There's a bunch of guys who I like to see everybody in the morning. I'm rolling solo, so you come and check me out from 9 to 10.
There you go. 9 o'clock tomorrow with Old Fashioned. And tomorrow on a Thursday, the Prize Pick Show at 10
that's at 10 o'clock too. So
that'll be going on.
Got a lot of shows, man.
Got a lot to do. That's why I got to let Anwar go right now and rest. Thanks to over 500.
Rest. I got to go pick up my kid from like elementary school in like a few minutes. Somebody said I'm old. I got a 6-year-old. What are you even saying? I got enough time to go grab lunch and then go pick him up from elementary school, then get my other kid, and then go get from middle school, and then go to soccer practice out in Pflugerville, and then I'll be back tonight. So there's no rest for the weary. Trust.
No rest. All right. So for Anwar and all you parents out there in the car line, be careful. Try not to yell and scream too much. We'll be back